For those of you unfamiliar, my name is Kevin Smith. This is my friend Scott Mosier, my producer.
Hello.
We make movies. We didn't make this one, much to my chagrin and much to my great relief. We're going to do a commentary for Roadhouse, the Silver Swayze, Roddy Harrington classic. And chiefly, the whole thing came about because we talked about Roadhouse a little bit on our Clerks 10 DVD.
We did. We were talking about Jeff Healey
And we
and Roadhouse.
In one of the intros to
Yeah.
something, we just went on for a good 4 or 5 minutes or something about Roadhouse. And then the good folks at Sony / MGM / all those other companies that make up the Sony empire, Columbia TriStar, that kind of thing, said, hey, you want to do a commentary track for Roadhouse? And we were like, all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm sure we've got stuff to say. That dude who just walked up, Kevin Teague, he's a dude who you might remember from such films as 8 Men Out,
8 Men Out, I do
with
remember.
John Sayles.
Yeah.
You're going to hear a lot of paper shuffling here because we've printed up everything we could possibly need to know about Roadhouse, and we'll be going over it with y'all today as we talk about this modern-day classic Roadhouse. Now, Kevin Teague, aside from being in 8 Men Out, was in, he'd done a lot of TV. He was in Jade. I guess it's a big leap from 8 Men Out to Jade. School Ties with a dude we know.
Yeah. Better Off Dead.
Oh, class. Class picture. Matewan, too, another sales picture. He's a character actor. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff. I always liked the guy. And in this picture, he's saying the role of, well, let's see. Kevin Teague plays.
Well, he's the dude who owns the bar. He's come a-looking.
He's Frank Tillman, owner of the Double Deuce. He's the guy who's looking for Dalton. And there he is, the Swayze dog himself, Patrick Swayze, playing Dalton. A lot of people thought that Dalton didn't have a last name, thought it was like Madonna or Cher, but really his name is James Dalton. And notice how zen he is. See, there's a fight breaking out. Swayze doesn't come over and start knocking heads together. Just the slow approach. Pimps what he needs to say. Probably like nobody puts baby in a corner. And then he lets his dudes, his lackeys, handle it.
With
Just
a
a
nod.
With the nod, no less. Dalton's character in the movie, as we'll come to learn, was I believe it was NYU philosophy major.
He
Got
was.
a doctorate in philosophy.
Yeah.
So he's a dude that knows a lot about the nature of man and the nature of kicking man's ass. Now, you saw this movie in the theater.
I did. It was my graduating. I graduated in '89.
This is your gift to yourself?
Yeah, this is my. You graduated, Scott. Go see Roadhouse.
Did your hair look like that?
Not as good as that. I was never as '80s as those guys were. They're achieving like a real look.
Well, these dudes they're living in the 80s, man. This is 80. So if it came out in 89, it was probably made somewhere around 88, 89.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the swan song of the 80s. Of the go-go 80s.
I believe this was sort of like this took every element of the 80s and threw it into one movie and kind of closed the door on the 80s.
If you were sewing your arm up in a room, would you lock the door as the bouncer? As the dude who's just, obviously somebody didn't like you enough to cut you.
Because if I was sewing my own arm up without anesthetic, I wouldn't mind somebody walking in. So you want somebody to pimp that shit because then they're scared of you.
Because they're like, wow, look at you, hardcore.
Yeah,
But if you were in a room with your shirt off and some dude creeps in, gives you that smile, wouldn't you think he was trying to blow you?
Yeah, but I'm not scared. You're not scared. You have to think that you're that guy. Like you saw when he got cut, he didn't even react to it.
That's true. He
Like you're not scared.
He
of
so
some old-
underacted it. I didn't even notice he got cut.
See, you missed the whole thing. Like you're that dude. You're not scared of anybody, especially some old dude with a
Swayze
bolo
dog.
coming
It's
in.
Dalton, not me, because I'm scared
Dalton.
of everything.
If you're Dalton, look at him. He's sewing it up like he's mending a shirt. And you're not scared of this guy, regardless of his intentions,
You could
sexual
take
or whatnot.
You can rip his throat out if needs be.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
He's not afraid of a room full of motherfuckers. What, you think he's gonna fucking bat an eye at this old timer?
I might, dude. It's the old timers you got to be careful
You're
of.
scared of the sexual predator.
Very much so. I mean, let's see, this came out in 89, so I was about 18, 19 when I saw this. But let's say I was a 12-year-old Dalton sitting in that room sewing up my arm scar, and this dude pimps in. I would be afraid.
I bet you 12-year-old Dalton was sewing up his own wounds at 12.
Some dude walks into a room when your shirt's off and he's like, I want you to come with me. Here's a plane ticket. That doesn't occur to you as like predatory in any sort of way?
Well, we don't live his life, you know? You don't have, I mean, that's a common occurrence for him. People are coming looking for him.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. Look at him. See?
God, that dude had great hair. What do you think?
Sexiest Man Alive, 1991,
91?
I believe, 2 years after this. So this isn't even the height of his sexual powers. 2 years later.
That's when people really keyed in.
Yeah.
People were like, wow, Swayze, we had no idea. You know, this was a movie that when it came out, it did like $30 million in box office, which I think is great, but I don't know what they spent on the movie to get.
That dude was in Weird Science.
Totally. He's just like.
That old guy?
He's the dude that said, in the family, Jules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is a staple of the 80s. So Swayze, this is where he reveals the car. Do you really make enough money being a bouncer to buy?
Once again, if you're
Mercedes?
Swayze, you got to you got to take him out of this. You're making him a common man. He is not. He is the Uber bouncer. He's the guy who's turned it into tape player. He's the guy who's turned it into literally.
That caught your imagination, did you? You're really
like
tape player. This dates that movie big time.
It does date. It's also like this movie, like, you think about all the modern conventions that we're stuck seeing all the time in movies. Like, I was like cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not going to see a cell phone in this movie.
If we do, it's going to be about 96 feet long.
Yeah, it'll be the size of the car.
Pretty massive. Written by a guy named David Lee Henry and Hillary Henkin. David Lee Henry was a dude who wrote very few films. He wrote Out for Justice. He wrote Roadhouse. He wrote 8 Million Ways to Die, which coincidentally was Hal Ashby's last theatrical film. His swan song. He wrote The Evil That Men Do, which I believe was a Bronson flick. Out for Justice, of course, was a Steven Seagal picture. 8 Million Ways to Die had Jeff Bridges and Roseanne Arquette in it. But isn't that weird, Hal Ashby's last picture? But he also I believe he's
dude without his shirt on.
Another dude.
Well, he's dancing. There's a dude
that's why this place needs Dalton's help, because they can't
a dress code.
Yeah, dudes can't keep their shirts on. He also wrote it with Hillary Henkin, who was a chick who also didn't write that much, but she co-wrote Wag the Dog with David Mamet, which I thought was kind of interesting.
There you go.
And Romeo is Bleeding. If you're David Lee Henry and Hillary Henkin, are you proud of this movie, or are you just like, yeah, it's something I did for a check?
You gotta be proud of all your children.
I think so, but do you think there's a secret shame in any of it? Like, do you think they watch this movie and they're like, they didn't get it?
I don't. I think if somebody at that time, 1987, 1988, calls you up and says, okay, we want to write a modern Western. It's
kind of a modern Western.
It is a modern Western. If you notice, all the names in it are
taken right from.
Yeah.
I mean, Dalton. Later on, you'll meet cats named Wade and Brad Wesley. Those are Western names.
Even the chicks fight.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Look at that little Superman curl, man. But anyways, he's
missed it. He could have been Superman.
See, there's a dude with a shirt.
It's kind of a gay bar they want him to come and patrol. I always found it very strange though that like they like the house band, but they throw beer bottles at them as well. Like the way to show your affection, kind of like a 5-year-old boy has affection for a 5-year-old girl and pulls her pigtails or hair. I don't even know if anyone does pigtails anymore. They just whip fucking bottles at these cats, and then one dude is blind. Like, that's hateful.
Look at that thing. Where's that guy? Look at him. He's working those eyebrows like he's trying to. That's pretty amazing.
So you're that dude, the dude who gets to hit on the chick.
Yeah.
Pretty good part in the movie.
Yeah. I wonder if he was a local. Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Well,
There it is. There it is. See, now Dalton's surveying all this because he realizes this is no way to bounce.
This is not how you run a club.
No, you don't grab people and beat the shit out of them, throw them around and stuff like that. There's another way to do it.
But it is a modern Western in that he comes in to do a job. He doesn't want to get involved in the town politics. You know, it's a classic sort of Western story. But it's that time. It's 1980 something, and you're charged. You're offered to write this story, and these people, I think, took all the elements, of the time and sort of crammed it into a movie. They took what was available to them and modernized a Western. I mean, I don't think this will ever. I think they could be proud.
Kind of like Blade Runner.
Yeah. Without the unicorn.
Without the unicorn. Do you think, do you remember this chick?
I do.
Her name's Catherine Wilhoit. What do you recognize her from?
Well, I remember her recently from Lorenzo's Oil.
Okay. I remember her going way the fart back on cable when I was a kid to a little picture that you two may remember with Phoebe Cates. And that picture was called Private School. It was one of the teen titty flicks that was huge on cable when I was a kid, when I was first getting into that masturbatory period. And there's a shot in the movie that purports to show Phoebe Cates' ass, and you think it might be real, but unlike Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where you can tell it's her boobs because her face is attached, you never really quite sure. Catherine Wilhoit didn't show her. Kathleen Wilhoit didn't show her ass. But this chick went on to do some stuff, man. She's released 2 albums. Isn't that weird?
Come on.
She might sing in this
also
movie.
Also an accomplished musician. She does sing in this movie. Very good memory.
Wow.
She's got 2 widely released albums. Pitch Like a Girl and Sheila. Yeah, that's why they need to clean the joint up. You got to get dudes like that out of there. Jeff Healey, who's a dude we did talk about quite a bit on that. Look, there it is, man. It's like, fuck you, blind dude. Pitches a bottle at the motherfucker, and he is blind. He can't see that coming.
That's a rowdy group.
Oh, this bar clearly needs to be cleaned up.
But now, like, as a guy who in 1989 I was a high school senior.
The rest of the band, just like, God, they threw another bottle.
Look at him conspiring to play a joke on Jeff Healey because he can't see. Wow,
totally.
That's your bandmates right there.
Yeah, they're just like, we're in. What do you want to do? Why do you think he's looking at him? It's almost like he's going to recognize him. Jeff Healey's been blind since he was age 1, sir.
Age 1. Wonder if he has a moment like from when he was 1 that he remembers.
That he remembers, that he has any sort of context.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from age 1, so it'd be tough.
Since nobody here from the movie or Jeff Healey is not here,
we'll take a shot in the dark. I mean, if you were a 1-year-old, and let's say, like, if I was 1. And I lost my sight, like, later on, and somebody was like, you know what red is? And I'm like, fuck no. And they're like, red, like Ronald McDonald's hair. Then I might make the connection.
Gotcha.
Because, like, I'm sure I'd remember something like clown with hamburgers.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that could come in handy useful. Every time you see a clown, you're looking for a burger. But he took up guitar playing at age 3.
Wow.
After, once the sight was gone, I guess.
Age 3? Well, I don't remember.
What were you doing at age 3?
I took up my own poop.
Probably flinging around like a chimp.
I didn't take up a guitar.
This dude did something constructive. This dude was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Look, my God. I mean, I've been in many bars in my life, but I guess he's a pimp, right?
No, I think he's proud of his... We don't have that. I think he's proud of his wife, his girlfriend's.
I think he's a pimp. It'd probably be useful
I think he's baiting.
Throw on the headphones, but
he's proud of his her new fake boobs.
I think part of the problem with the bar. No, he's total pimp, sir. He's trying to sell the. Well, come on.
No.
Yeah.
No,
you think it's a husband proud of the fake boobs?
Yeah.
So is he then going to get outraged? Look at him.
See, he grabbed one too many times.
Yeah.
See, that's why you don't invite that kind of thing. Never invite another man over to grab your ladies.
I think it's really unfair to turn on a dude after you've been like, why don't you rub these? Look, he gets mad. This bar needs to be cleaned up. See that dude right there? Big dude? Flannel shirt?
Yeah.
He played, he was in Batman Returns. He played as credited as Fat Clown.
Wow.
He's the one that says, you missed, and then Batman. He shoots the thing into the wall. He's holding Michelle Pfeiffer with a little shock thing.
Gotcha.
And then he gets knocked out. He was the Fat Clown in that movie. There's only one. So
I will say this movie has got to be recognized as having employed literally hundreds of stunt people.
Totally.
Look at there's bottles. Look at that, nonstop. I don't know if he's a stunt guy. I'm not gonna count him. On average, you're talking about like probably they got 40, 50 guys. Most of the extras, I bet you, are stunt guys.
Could you imagine it's 1988 and you hear like, hey, there's going to be this movie Roadhouse. But I think they need a few stunt people. And then it turns out everyone you know in the stunt business is working on this movie.
It'd be a hell
And
of a-
Jeff Healy's there.
And Jeff Healy's there. And the breakaway bottles, the brawls.
I will always be in awe of stunt people. How like it's very easy to kind of get hurt, but they never seem to really. He's definitely a stunt dude. They
Wow.
never seem to really get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Reeves on a horse jumps over a bush, paraplegic. This dude got thrown over a fucking bar, and he's probably still walking around today.
Well, there's
You gotta know how to fall.
you got to know how to fall. I mean, there's probably the people might have been injured. We don't know that.
Yeah, but you know what? The IMDb would have told us. Like
It
3
would have said
motherfuckers
something.
died making this picture. That would stick out. That would be a factoid.
That would have been
might
worth it.
pop. Oh, you think so?
Nah, I don't
Loss
know.
of life on something like Roadhouse. Roadhouse, while it only made $30 million theatrically, and it was roundly kind of drubbed by the critics, went on to become a massive, massive TV cult film because TBS and TNT seemingly run it every week, once a week. And it's become an insanely valuable title in the video library, the MGM video library, now the Sony video library, because it's one of these infinitely watchable movies where you can, if you're clicking around on cable and you see it on, you could just snuggle up with it like a teddy bear, or like put it on like a warm sweater.
You can. Well, it doesn't demand much of you.
It really doesn't.
So far, he hadn't shown me shit.
See, now we're Big T Auto Sales.
Could you imagine?
I lost my train of thought. I got it.
It doesn't demand much of you, is what you're getting at. And I completely agree. It is a movie that just kind of washes over you.
Well, you can just sit down. You're in. You're out. You can go. You don't necessarily. You can drop out for a few minutes, make a phone call, go to the bathroom. You can come back, and you're not confused.
No, you're like, yeah, he's still in charge.
Yeah, you're not gonna walk back in and not understand what the stakes are.
I always thought this was a pretty ingenious plan where you buy a beater car,
The shit car.
to bring to work, because knowing that people are going to hate you,
Yeah,
stab your tires and shit like that. That's the car that you bring to work.
extra
and then,
tires.
and pack extra tires. And then you leave the good car someplace else where nobody could fuck with it.
Well,
It's a forward thinker, Dalton.
and that's the philosophy. I don't actually think those tires. I don't think he would have been able to close the trunk. I'm gonna say that's the first really unbelievable moment of the movie.
No, really? You don't
Well,
think
it felt like it was
the dude
stacked too
going,
high.
feel my wife's boobs was unbelievable?
Not in that particular space. That bar
Yeah, it's
with the
kinda
guy
rowdy.
with the one guy without his shirt on, you feel like anything can happen.
Walk through the door, it's like a gay fantasia.
It was.
This is the great irony here is that this joint that he's gonna take residence up, and he takes residence up in the barn house at this dude's property, is right across the little river or lake or whatever you would call it from the villain we'll eventually meet, Ben Gazzara.
The sadist who runs the town, small
Oh, yeah.
town. The guy he goes up against lives across the river.
Right. I mean, what are the chances that like he's gonna go up against that dude and he lives next door to him too?
What does it? Keep your enemies closer. You know.
Yeah, but he didn't even know it.
He doesn't
going
even
in.
know, but he's that guy who
It's
maybe
Zen.
knows.
Yeah,
He knows going
without
in.
knowing.
He knows he needs to get close.
Jeff Healy, before we forget about Jeff Healy, although how could we possibly? Because really, he led to us getting this job. Canadian.
A Canadian.
Some might say a Canadian institution. But he currently owns a bar in Toronto. 178 Bathurst, it's called. It showcases blues bands.
A blues band.
Yeah. So Jeff Healy, who was only in one other movie other than Roadhouse, the name of which escapes me, but I bet you I can pull it up pretty quickly. No Way Home, about 7 years after Roadhouse. Oh, do you know what? He wasn't even that. He was only in one movie as an actor. That was
He was
he
a
was the
composer.
composer for No Way Home.
Well, he
Only
was a
did one
musician
movie.
at heart. I don't think It wasn't from lack
You think
of
it was a
trying.
case that they wanted to put Angel Eyes into the movie, and then they were like, "Well, why don't you play the guy?"
I think. I mean, one, he's a blues player. It's a Roadhouse. I mean, it all fits and make him a character. But I mean, I doubt that he was. I don't think he was necessarily pursuing acting. Their first moment.
There he is. Look, I mean, do you think you could see somebody that from that far away,
I'm.
or would you be peering, like, with squinting your eyes?
They just
trying to
look like
see?
a blur.
But that was Ben Gazzara, the great Ben Gazzara, who most people know from Killing of a Chinese Bookie.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dude who like caught wind. He's consistently acted over his entire performing career, and he caught a lot of a second wind, third wind, maybe even fourth wind in the 90s all the way up to the present. That dude doesn't stop working, Ben Gazzara.
He's always around. I don't think
Cassavetes' favorite.
Cassavetes. I think that he's always got, not that every movie's but he has his moments every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Happiness. What else leaps to mind?
Just too persuasive for me.
Do you have that sheet of paper?
Yeah, those sheet of papers nearby.
Brought all-
Buffalo 66 leaps to mind.
yeah.
Let's see what else they got for old Ben. Hysterical Blindness. I love that dude.
Hysterical Blindness.
He won an award for being in Hysterical Blindness, supporting actor.
So right
award.
now he's doing pretty well.
Dude's all over the map, man. He works. Classy actor.
This is a new double deuce.
Let's talk Swayze for a second.
Dogville. He was in Dogville.
Right. The dude's not hard up for work. And I bet you this has something to do with it, too. Even though most people are like, this Roadhouse is cheese. So many people have seen it, and so many people kind of dig it for what it is, that I think when you're thinking about actors, you're like, all right, I need some guy who looks like Ben Gazzara. Why don't I go for Ben Gazzara?
That intensity.
The Swayze canon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to narrow down what films would be in the Swayze canon if there was one. Like, what constitutes the strongest or most popular body of his work? And I went through his list of flicks, and this
Okay.
is, and see if you agree with me. I say the Swayze canon, even though he was in Skate Town, USA, back in 1979, for me, the Swayze canon really begins with Red Dawn in 1984. He was in North and South, TV miniseries, but I ain't counting that. Then it's Youngblood, an awesome
Hockey movie.
piece of cheese about hockey. Maybe the second greatest hockey movie ever made after Slapshot.
Yeah.
Maybe third after MVP, Most Valuable Primate, the Chimp on Ice movie,
Yeah.
whatever that was called.
Anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Okay, so you go Red Dawn, Youngblood. Youngblood's 1986. Then a year later, you've got Dirty Dancing, and that's where he breaks huge,
That's where he goes.
playing Johnny Castle. Then he had two clunkers after that called Steel Dawn and Tiger Warsaw, and then it was Roadhouse, which, even though it didn't fare that well at the box office, I mean, 30 million. I think 30 million is
we're
good.
here.
Yeah, totally.
We're here right now, so it's got to count for something.
Totally. And 30 million bucks in 1989 has got to be like 180 million in 2006 dollars.
Totally.
After that, Next of Kin. Remember Next of Kin?
I do.
I include that in the canon, although some people I imagine would find that controversial.
They
a
might drop it
controversial
off,
choice.
but
Still, that was when he's in his heyday. That's that's the predecessor to Ghost,
Yes.
which is probably the most. Which would you say is the most popular, Dirty Dancing or Ghost in the Swayze canon?
I don't know. I
Those
think
are two
they're
huge
yeah.
fucking movies. Like, if you're lucky, you're in one fucking huge movie as an actor. That dude was in fucking two.
I gotta maybe say that Dirty Dancing has to be number one.
You
That's
think
the
so?
one that, like, over time will sort of.
It's the one more people see. I mean, Ghost was a massive phenomenon when it was out. But I
huge.
think more people still remember Dirty Dancing
I think
over Ghost.
that may be the one also that people are picking up, more as it goes along. That could be like new audiences are seeing Swayze there for the first time as opposed to Ghost.
I want you to remember.
Strange. Yeah, I would have. If I was a betting man back in the day, I would have bet. I would have bet Ghost. But I think you're right. Dirty Dancing. I also included in the Swayze canon his appearance in that Saturday Night Live sketch where he played the Chippendale dancer with Chris Farley, because
I
that
would
is
do
kind of
that, yeah.
classic. I mean, that's kind of Swayze at his height, as far as I'm concerned.
Is she?
And then I say that the curve ends with Point Break.
Wow, you're cutting him off there.
That's 91 because it was still somewhat popular movie with Keanu and whatnot. And then after that, everything like City of Joy. Remember that was his classy bid where he was
didn't pan
working
out.
in India or somewhere like that, and it didn't really pan out. And then you got Fatherhood.
Honorable mention to Tu Wong Fu.
To Wong Fu for playing a chick, sure, a cross-dresser, but didn't really break out. To Wong Fu
No.
didn't really light his career on fire. I mean, props for being in Donnie Darko, of course.
Mm-hmm. What about wasn't he in?
He played
The
Alan Quarter. He
Outsiders?
played Alan Quartermain in a TV version of King Solomon's Mines. Yes, he was definitely in The Outsiders, but I would not include that as part of the Swayze canon because it's too much of a ensemble piece. Yeah, and also Outsiders in 1983. Some might say Uncommon Valor, where they had to go free. The
I'll take.
Vietnam dudes. I wouldn't include that in the canon. For me, the canon begins with Red Dawn, even though that too is an ensemble piece because he was a big part of it. He's the dude that forces the kid to piss in the.
Yeah,
the,
absolutely.
in
Well, I
the-
think if you're going to
The
include
water,
Red Dawn,
what was that thing called? In the car?
canteen?
Radiator. Canteen. Forces him to piss in the canteen, drink it. Yeah, he forces him to piss in the radiator so they get the truck going and whatnot. But that for me, it begins.
But if
with
you're
Red
going to
Dawn.
include Red Dawn, which is an ensemble, then you have to. Then I think you do have to go back to The Outsiders. You
Then-
got to throw.
Well, then
it in
I'm
there.
willing. Then I'm willing to let Red Dawn go, because I cannot include the Outsiders as part of it. He's a small part of the Outsiders. Very
Yeah.
small. Red Dawn, he's a big part.
But it's still like you'd have to say like it was The Outsiders. You kind of have to count because you'd have to say that was his. It was a Coppola movie. It's like he was validated by the film community by being involved in that. So I think you have to include it.
The bartender,
Yeah.
John Doe, from that band X.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, made a career for himself as an actor after X. Everyone's impressed with Dalton's act. Even the blind guy can see how
Yeah,
good
he can
Dalton
feel.
is.
He
Yeah.
knows that he's making his mark
He's not,
already.
he's not getting hit with any fucking shards of glass.
Wow,
anymore.
look at that hair. Oh,
Yeah, see, this movie did kind of have it all. It had ass kicking, it had fucking nudity.
look at that dude. Why is the girl up close on
I don't
the
know,
dude?
but-
Get totally.
I don't know, but it is kind of strange considering that we've probably seen more male flesh in this movie than chick flesh. Like, there's all these loving shots of Dalton with his shirt off. There was the dude dancing in the bar with his shirt off. And then this chick has her dress kind of hiked up and her top pulled down. But the other
guy is just
bartender's like,
completely-
I'm just taking all my clothes off to get this done. Like, for a quickie. It's like, hold on, I'm not ready. And he has to completely disrobe. And then he's like, okay, now I'm ready for sex.
I didn't hear what he said, but I think that I think Dalton frowns upon.
Well, not on company time.
No.
And probably not with somebody who patroned the bar.
Was it a patron or was it?
I remember this moment because he's going after him for till tapping,
Ah,
for taking money out of the register, and they don't take too kindly to that. And then he's going to shit can this dude.
did we miss the moment where it takes? I was talking to Brian Johnson, a friend of ours, yesterday, and he remembered in this movie that like there's a moment where the guy takes from the till and he says that he's looking around so suspiciously. And he said it was his favorite part of the movie.
Yeah,
a little
that's-
shout
that's
out there.
early.
Where it was like
That's early on in the picture. That's because when Dalton was just watching
When he's
the whole
observing,
room,
he watched
he,
him.
he peeped that out. So now here's where you find out why the dude buys a separate car. Because as he leaves the place at night, he's going to see that his car's been fucking attacked. Mercilessly attacked. But it don't matter because he's got like 19 spare tires in that trunk. That never-ending trunk.
he
Look
laughs.
at him. He just chuckles it away. Very zen, this dude. Because he knows, I got spares. What do I give a fuck? I'm Dalton.
I don't even think he goes that far.
Where's that awesome sheet of Dalton facts?
I
Look
believe
at
he's
his
reading Legends of the Fall.
He is Jim Harrison's Legends of the Fall. He's a reader. Look at this. He looks across again with dude's got vision like Superman. He could see over that lake. I remember seeing this movie and going, wow, is that what happens when you get a little money? You can have crazy parties where people tear their clothes off and go swimming.
30 people running towards a pool.
I've got a little money, you know. I've done pretty well over the course of the last 12 years. Never had a party like this in my
Never.
life. Look at that dude.
I've done that, but I was by myself. I could never get people around me. Look at that.
And there's a
Is
man
that guy
who's
standing
so
up?
that he's like Lurch. He's a giant. He's their friend from the circus. A dude who's so comfortable with how hardcore he is, he's willing to wear a pink bathrobe. Says a lot about Ben Gazzara. Or Ben Gazzara's character, I should say.
You don't want to go on
I
record.
don't know. I can't credit that to Ben himself. Some Dalton facts, sir. Mm-hmm. Taking a page from the
The Chuck Norris.
from the Chuck Norris playbook. Dalton's tears cure cancer. It's just too bad he's never cried.
Ever.
Dalton does not sleep, sir. He waits. Look, once again, more male nudity. And look at the hungry look from her. I think that's kind of cool because they rarely show that in movies where chicks are like,
Women are lusting.
yeah, where like literally drool's coming out of her mouth and she's just like, I'd eat that ass. You don't really see that much. It's always like the dude playing a horn dog, but I think that's kind of a brave choice. Did you know that the chief export of
Dalton is pain.
That's awesome. The chief export of Dalton is pain. If you can see Dalton, he can see you. If you can't see Dalton, you may only be seconds away from death.
Number 6.
Your favorite?
Is Dalton has counted to infinity twice.
That's hard ass. Dalton does not hunt because the word hunting implies the probability of failure. Dalton goes killing.
Dalton's blood type is AK+, ass-kicking positive. It is compatible only with heavy construction equipment, tanks, and fighter jets.
You know, Dalton is 1/8 Cherokee.
I didn't know that.
This has nothing to do with his ancestry. The man once ate a fucking Indian.
The legend goes on. Look at him. That's what happens when you're sadistic. You weave along the road.
Did you know that there's no chin behind Dalton's beard? There's only another fist.
I didn't know that.
I think that's genius. Because
He doesn't even have
he
a
doesn't
beard.
have a beard. Dalton once roundhouse kicked someone so hard that his fist broke the speed of light, went back in time, and killed Amelia Earhart while she was still flying over the Pacific Ocean. He don't care. He's
He
just
don't
a
care.
rich psychotic who's got the town in a stranglehold in his grip. Now, here's the only other place of business outside of the car dealerships that we see and the Double Deuce. The only places of business that exist in this little town.
The only free operating, and it's actually right by the bar.
And there's this dude who plays, what's his name in the movie?
Red West, I believe, is the name of his character.
Red West is his
Oh, his
name.
real name.
I believe.
I believe his name is Red in the movie, too.
Well, I think it's Reb, isn't it?
Rev?
Rev. Hold on, I'll be able to tell you in 2 secs. Probably be useful if we put our headphones on, but he plays Red Webster. His name in real life is Red West. He plays Red Webster. Old Red West is notable because he was Elvis Presley's boyhood friend, and he
Yes.
was part of the Memphis Mafia that you hear so much about. His cousin Sonny was Elvis's bodyguard and whatnot. So this dude is not only an actor, and he's acted in a shitload of fucking movies.
Yeah.
But he's been a character in movies as well. Anytime they make a movie about Elvis,
There's a
Red West. And interestingly enough, his son, who's an actor, John Boyd West, played him in an Elvis TV movie.
Wow.
That will never happen for me because I got a daughter. So if they ever make a movie in which Kevin Smith is a character, unless it's a Victor Victoria kind of thing, she's not gonna do it unless they wanted to depict me accurately as having no fucking dick whatsoever. Then she could play me in that movie.
She could.
But isn't that kooky? Like this is the Red West. This is the dude who was tight with Elvis.
Terrific. Hope you're gonna clean that place up. Bad element over there.
I think his kid might have played him more than once.
I thought when I read it that his kid played him a couple times. Did he play him in the?
He didn't play him in the
Carpenter.
No, on the Carpenter one he would have been a kid. In the John Carpenter one, the one with Kurt Russell, Robert Gray played Red West. But could you imagine, like, this dude's built a career playing an actor, and he's got a long list of credits.
Yeah.
But you're also some other actor has played you, essayed the role of fucking Red West in your lifetime, multiple times.
Tai Chi.
Is that what it is?
I believe he's doing Tai Chi.
I thought you said tight jeans.
Yeah,
I was
I'm like, tight
pretty damn
pants.
tight. Again, check this dude out. No shirt, glistening fucking muscles. Do you see the stitch from where he was, the scar from where he stitched himself up, or is this a long
I don't
time
know.
has passed since then?
I think he heals like Wolverine.
He's got that mutant healing factor.
He does.
God,
He's
if I had a body
glistening.
like that, I would walk around with my shirt off all the time too. No two ways about it. And beg people to shoot me, like on
There
film.
it is. Look at there's the See, that's more of a perspective of what you would see from
Totally.
across the river.
A realistic perspective.
He just thinks he's a jackass.
With the sound
So he's
turned down, this
underestimating-
movie is insanely homoerotic. Without hearing what's going on.
Wait, there is a scar. I think. But he's underestimating him. That's his downfall right there. That scene, that's a pivotal scene where basically he rides up on his ATV and he underestimates him because he thinks he's doing some Chinese pansy shit.
Again, sound turned down. It's like a series of dudes looking at dudes with their shirts off. Do you think they'll make a biopic about Jeff Healey one day the way they made one about Ray Charles? It would have to be a Canadian biopic, but do you think they'll do it?
I don't want to say no.
You don't want to rule it out?
I don't want to rule it out. I'm going to say, if I had to put money on it today, I would say no. And that's no offense to Jeff Healey.
I mean,
whatsoever.
He's a Canadian institution, sir. And in a very popular movie. A movie that will go down well remembered in history. I don't know. I don't think it's too far-fetched. Plus, it's Canadian TV. I mean, they got to fill it with Canadian heroes. And I'd say Jeff Healey constitutes a Canadian hero. He's got to be one.
Well, I got to say, I mean, they got to do Bryan Adams before that, then.
You're probably right. It's a foregone conclusion that there will actually be.
If they're listing it at the CBC or CTV, if they're listing out the biopics, Jeff Healey's not number one.
Really?
He's not. I mean, no, and once again, no offense to Jeff Healey.
And no offense to Brian. Oh, this dude
he's got a
pulls the
buck
knife
knife.
out. Yeah.
Look at him.
How will Dalton take it?
What's the matter? You
2 swipes and he leans back.
What are you afraid of? Me?
That guy,
I'm surprised
he's all
somebody
giddy.
hasn't taken their shirt off yet.
Scared to fight me? You big.
Oh, I thought he was going for his pants for a second.
What do you want to kiss and make up?
It's always some fat guy smooching like a pig at you.
Making
Going,
kissy face.
oh, snap.
Oh, through the.
You knew that was coming, sir. The moment there was a window, somebody was going through it.
Uh-oh.
Another knife.
God,
Didn't
there's
this dude
knives
learn
aplenty.
anything? Oh,
another
shit.
cut.
Fuck you, dude. I'm going to sew it up myself later on. What do you think what's the draw of watching people fight?
What's the draw?
Yeah, like we really fell silent to watch the fight. Like why?
Well,
I mean, even though we know it's a fake fight, it's like watching wrestling to some degree. Why do you think we're intrigued?
one, it allows us to not need to fight ourselves.
Have you ever been in a fight?
Not really. Nothing that I would compare. Nothing where like there was blood and glass. Whoa. Nothing where I would call it anything worth watching. Nobody would have stopped to watch the altercation I was in. Let me put it that way.
I was in one sort of fight, 2 actually, throughout the course of my lifetime. One, I was at the YMCA in Red Bank at one point, Kelly Lynch, and me and my cousin Johnny were in there, and we were playing video games. More interested in playing video games than going swimming or doing anything athletic. And some kids came up to us and said, yo, you got any money for the video games? And so we gave him some of the quarters, and then the dude was like, no, we want all the money. And I said, and my cousin was a little smaller than me.
Mm-hmm.
He was younger, about a year or 2 younger than me. And I said, well, what are we going to play games with? And they said, we don't care. And then, I don't know why I even asked. And then they said, yo, which one of these dudes are we going to hit first? And these dudes were bigger than us, too. And somebody in the group, because there were 4 of them against 2 of us, go, don't hit the little one, hit the fat one. And I was dreading it because I knew I was the fat one, and I knew the punch was coming, and I got punched like right in the chest. And then they took like $2 from us, and then went and played video games like in the next room and shit. And we went and told the YMCA people and whatnot, and they were like, "Well, can you prove it?" I said no. So I wouldn't really be a fight. I was like 9 at the time, maybe 10.
You needed a Swayze.
I did. I needed a Swayze dog. I needed to go
There was like,
track him down and be like, "Look, I got some trouble at the YMCA. You want to be a bouncer?"
an arcade
Interesting.
bouncer.
In the YMCA. Interestingly enough, though, somebody in that little scenario had their shirt off because we were in the locker room. So apparently, whenever there's shit going down, somebody has a shirt
Somebody's
off.
got to take their shirt off.
The only other fight I was ever kind of somewhat involved with in my life was
I think I've heard this.
yeah, Ernie O'Donnell.
Ernie O'Donnell.
Ernie O'Donnell was going, kind of going with this girl named Carla when we were, and she went to a different school. Like we hung out with her, me, him, and Carla, and Ernie liked her, and I don't know if she really liked Ernie or not, but she would tell me that she didn't. And I didn't like her. She was just a girl that I hung out with. And I guess she told Ernie she didn't want to date him or anything like that, and she had given Ernie a pair of sunglasses or something. So Ernie, I guess, assumed that I was the guy that came between him or something like that. So he comes up to me in the hallway, and he'd been avoiding me all day. And like there were whispers of a fight and shit. And I'm like, this is my friend. He's not going to fight me. And I'm at my locker room in the hallway. And I was in high school at this point. I'm going to put my books away in the locker. And Ernie goes, these are for Carla. And he gives me her sunglasses. And I go, dude, I don't want those. And then he slams me into the locker. And then he starts to try to like grab me to elbow me in the face, but he didn't grab me successfully, so he missed. And I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy, like I had this dude like I was fucking Dalton.
I don't think people are gonna take it.
Nobody's buying that tough guy, but he just didn't connect. He missed.
Yeah,
Totally missed. And the whole time I'm still putting my books away, and there's a crowd around us, like because when a fight breaks out, people want to see some bloodshed, and there was a big crowd around us, and you know, I don't remember if anyone was chanting, like, kick his ass or kill him or whatever. But I just kept putting my books away going, Ernie, I don't want to fight you, man. And it just eventually dissolved. Like, Ernie just kind of walked away.
Huh.
And it was like the only near fight example I've been in, and it was strange. You know, I never want to be in a fight myself, particularly in a bar fight. Like, Mewes has been in, Jason Mewes, who plays Jay in the movies we've done, has been in many a fight. Mm-hmm. But also, he'll be in fights that he didn't even instigate. Like, he'll be in a bar and somebody will be like, "You that guy in Clerks?" And he'll go, "Yeah," and they'll punch him in the fucking face. And then he has to,
shit.
and then he fucking breaks out and beats the shit out of people. Because he's a pretty wild fighter. Joey Adams, who was in Chasing Amy, she said she was in a bar in Arkansas, and the girl was like, "Are you that girl who was in Chasing Amy?" She said, "Yeah," and the girl punched her in the fucking face. Like, what? Why do people go to bars, dude? I know you want to get your drunk on, but what, can't you do it at home?
Well, obviously they go to bars to find people from movies and punch them in the face.
It's insane to me, man.
Well, let me just say this about fighting, and this is a quote from the movie, which is, nobody ever wins a fight.
That's a Daltonism.
That's what we're going to wrap up our conversation with fights about, is that nobody ever
you're
wins.
putting a cap on the fight.
Yeah.
I thought we were done.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like, movie
this
ain't
is
even over, sir.
I'm like, the monster truck has arrived.
Yeah, the picture's just taken
There's
off.
nothing more to say.
This is a scene where the Ben Gazzara's character, he lines up his lackeys and tells them the plan.
Yeah, well,
And then bitch slaps him.
That guy obviously
Had a problem with the plan.
talked back.
Come on, Ben. But he don't care. He's gonna give it to him.
If you would have called him Ben. Oh, he gave it to him in the fucking nuts, too.
Could you imagine? It's like, you could fucking beat up his character. You can beat up Brad Wesley, the Jasper Kingpin, because that's where this whole movie takes place, in Jasper. But if you throw a punch at him, you're gonna get killed by everyone else and stuff. So you gotta let this old man beat you up. It's probably the equivalent of getting your money stolen at the YMCA as a 9-year-old.
This is a lot like, this is a lot like what happened to you. Oh, he hit him again. I thought they were friends.
Did you know that most people have 23 pairs of chromosomes and Dalton has 72, and they're all poisonous?
I didn't know that.
Dalton drives an ice cream truck covered in human skulls.
That'd be awesome.
In a fight between Batman and Darth Vader, the winner would be Dalton.
I'd buy it.
Police label anyone attacking Dalton as a code 4511, which is a suicide, sir. They went after Red.
Oh, so this is when the drifter, the man, what is he wearing, a karate shirt? A dojo?
That was the style at the time. You can get away with rocking a gi, if you will.
Every week.
He don't like to see the little man downtrodden. It's
He
one thing
tries
to
to
like
mind
come
his
into
own
a
business.
one thing to come into a bar and start some shit, but you never want to walk into town and see like little guy getting attacked and shit like that. A little mom and pop shop.
I have to say that I was reading some of the reviews of the movie, and one of the reviews said that Kelly Lynch's character sleeps with him on the first,
She
right
does.
after they met,
Yeah, well, in the movie.
but not on, but it's on their first date.
Yeah, they haven't gone on a date yet.
Oh, okay.
Like her stitching him up doesn't really constitute a date, especially when he could have stitched himself up.
Well, then why did he go?
That's an interesting question. I wonder why. Because we saw
Guess if we
him.
would have been listening.
We might have known. Oh, snap, son.
See what they literally are saying.
They really
here
keep
is
you
that-
intrigued the whole time. I mean, the great Sam Elliott.
But they literally, that bar is so hardcore. They were like crossed out T-shirt and made it a wet G-string contest.
Yeah, that is hardcore. That's why I don't like the movie became a big cable favorite. But on cable, on TBS and TNT, you miss the jiggle. Like they don't show the boobs.
That's
Yet still, that's the power of this film, sir. Is that even though it's become massively popular,
even without bare chest.
yeah,
it's-
they didn't have to show the boobs to do it. It's just the content of the film. It's the draw of the drama that pulls people in. Do you like Sam Elliott?
I'm a huge fan of Sam Elliott. I gotta say,
Dalton abides, sir.
He's my Dalton.
Is he really? Do you know what Sam Elliott's first movie appearance was?
I believe it was. He started as a stuntman, I believe, but I know he was in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
And do you know what his other connection to Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid is?
No.
He's married to Catherine Ross.
Oh,
Years later, they got married.
but he's in the opening sepia. The stuff at the beginning of the movie that's in sepia.
Yeah, he's one of the card players.
Yeah.
He's a dude that always sounds like he's from the West, but really he's from Sacramento, California.
Well, you know, I know a couple people from Sacramento, and they
have a southern drawl.
There's a certain, Donald's from Sacramento, and he's got a little bit there.
All I know about Sacramento is when I was a kid, I watched that TV show 8 is Enough.
Mm-hmm.
With Dick Van Patten.
Yeah.
I think that was his name. And they lived in Sacramento. I also know that it's the capital of California. But none of the Van Pattens ever sounded like they had a Texas drawl.
See, here's a moment in the film where they make a statement, but I think they've taken the chicken wire down.
Oh, not only is the chicken wire down, but they're willing to let her sing. She was not a part of the band before, but now they're willing to put a girl on stage without fear of reprisal, some beer
bottles.
bottle hitting her or something like that. But Kevin Teague's club owner character got to redo the place the way he wanted to,
That's good.
and is feeling pretty good about it right about now. This chick right here, Julie Michaels.
Julie Michaels.
Julie Michaels had a massive career and still has a massive career as a stunt woman.
Does she do both? Is she acting too, or is she mostly doing stunts?
Now lately she's mostly doing stunts, but she continues to act. She was just in Desperate Housewives. She's been in Baywatch. I would say it's pretty evenly balanced between the two.
The monster truck is fantastic.
You digging it?
That's just that thing where it's like, what's popular, and you got to figure that you write in a monster truck. It's menacing.
That's why a movie like this, it just got picked up by CMT, Country Music Television.
Yeah.
It really has all the elements you want in it.
It does.
There's kind of like a country rockabilly music running throughout it. There's a monster truck. It's about values. And it's about if you got to kick ass. The dude's got the fucking knife in his boot.
And Dalton saw it already.
Well, he's got the eye. Did you know that Dalton doesn't wash his clothes? He disembowels them.
That makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, he broke his. Did you see that? He literally broke his ankle.
Yeah. Well, he's Dalton, sir. Did you know that Dalton once shot down a German fighter plane with his finger by yelling bang?
I didn't know that one.
Dalton originally appeared in the Street Fighter II video game, but was removed by beta testers because every button caused him to do a roundhouse kick. When asked about this glitch, Dalton replied, "That's no glitch." Genius. Dalton's got two speeds, my brother. Walk and kill.
Dalton once ate a whole cake before his friends could tell him there was a stripper in it.
Time waits for no man, unless that man is Dalton. Contrary to popular belief, America is not a democracy. It's a Dalton dictatorship. Kelly Lynch, where do you think she did this in relation to Drugstore Cowboy?
This was before.
You think it's before?
Yeah.
Let's see if you're right, man. Roadhouse, 89. Drugstore Cowboy, also 89.
Wow, so
Same
we
year.
can't say
That one, one probably established her
they both came out in
as a
89.
classy actress, and the other, kind of gave her some
She was
mainstream cred.
Are you always better than
And I believe there's a bit of nudity in here for her later on.
hot. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. She was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She looks like a Midwestern girl.
she does.
Started her acting career with a small job at the Guthrie Theater. She studied under acting teacher Sanford Meisner and became a model for the famous Elite Modeling Agency. She first gained acclaim for acting in Gus Van Sant's film Drugstore Cowboy. She earned an Independent Spirit Award nomination for that role
somebody has
and for
to
her
do it.
role in The Beans of Egypt, Maine. She married to Mitch Glazer. He's a writer.
She is.
He worked on Scrooged
Yep.
many years ago, among other things. I did not know. She turned down the Sharon Stone role in Basic Instinct.
Wow.
She could have been the chick who uncrossed her
She
leg.
could be in Basic Instinct too.
I know
She
you
could have been. She probably was too classy to open her legs up and showed a vag.
Yeah.
This dude, have her working this dude. Even somebody like little dude's gonna fall asleep at the
And he's
counter.
taking care of him.
He just pimps his hand out there, throws some cash down. So I guess this constitutes their first date.
All right. Any more time that you go out and have a meal separate of other people, look at what they did to his car. This is what you'd call a reoccurring gag, right?
Oh, totally. As a writer, I would definitely say that is a reoccurring gag. Did you know that Dalton doesn't teabag the ladies? He potato sacks them.
That's great.
There are no races. There are no races, sir. Only countries of people that Dalton has beaten to different shades of black and blue. When Dalton was denied an Egg McMuffin at McDonald's because it was 10:35, he roundhouse kicked the store so hard it became a Wendy's. See, there it is, the beginning. All right, she just kissed him. God, she is kind of pretty, isn't she, Kelly Lynch?
She's pretty. Her hair is very dated. But
You think so? In what way?
because it's got about it's very hairsprayed. Look at it. I mean, it's up. That 80s was up. The hair needed to come off of the scalp and go up. And
Well, this-
the deeper in the 80s you were, the higher it was actually. The higher it actually was.
Clearly, that wasn't their first date because she left without getting potato sacked.
Contrary to popular belief, there is indeed enough Dalton to go around.
They're always sending this dude's and this dude Ben Gazzara's character is always sending his messengers, and really he could just go to the edge of the lake and be like,
Just
"Hey,
yell
Dalton,
over.
you're fucked," but he opts not to do it.
It's the chubby guy.
Yeah, the chubby dude's always being painted as fearful as well, which I completely resent.
Oh, he's coming over now
Yeah, he invited him to his house.
because one pool table wasn't enough.
This is where you get to see the menagerie of animals and
He's a
things that
hunter.
he's killed. Yeah. Well, we don't know that he's a hunter. We just know he's killed a lot of things. Uh-oh. She got the smack in the eye.
That is going to make him angry.
Of course.
He hates injustice, you know.
Well, sir,
Can't divide by 0.
Dalton doesn't actually write books. The words assemble themselves out of fear.
Will you shut that shit off?
Dalton can believe it's not butter.
I can't listen.
When Dalton has sex with a man, it won't be because he's gay. It will be because he's run out of women. Genius.
My grandfather.
Looks like an important man.
He was an asshole.
Dalton doesn't bowl strikes. He just knocks down one pin and the other 9 faint. The show Survivor had the original premise of putting on an island with Dalton, putting all the people on the island with Dalton. There were no survivors in the pilot episode. Tape has been burned.
The streets of Chicago.
Did you know it takes Dalton 20 minutes to watch 60 Minutes?
I got it all here. I got 7-Eleven. I got the photomat here.
Dalton doesn't believe in Germany.
You ask anybody, they'll tell you.
You've gotten rich off of the people in this town.
Do you know this movie was shot by Dean Cundy?
I did not know that.
You know who Dean Cundy is, don't you?
No. He's a DP.
Yeah, he's a DP, and he shot Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He shot Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he was a Spielberg kid because he worked on Casper, Flintstones.
Paid for beating people up. Tell me you don't love
He went on to shoot Apollo 13 as well.
He shot DC Cab.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Wow.
Back to the fucking Future, sir. The same person that shot
All 3 of
Roadhouse
them.
shot Back to the Future. Did he shoot all 3?
He did. He's also shot Escape from New York, Halloween 2, The Thing.
Halloween 2 is a good-looking movie.
Psycho 2,
Did he shoot Halloween
Romancing
1?
the Stone.
So, don't be.
He shot The Fog. He did shoot the first Halloween. Jesus, man. So this dude has been hardcore John Carpenter, hardcore
Zemeckis.
Zemeckis, hardcore Steven Spielberg, and now hardcore Roddy Harrington, the director of the movie, who we didn't really even talk about. Rowdy Harrington directed, before this movie, he directed a flick called Jack's Back. Did you ever see it? With
James Spader.
James Spader,
Yeah.
about Jack the Ripper.
Uh-huh.
He later on he did Gladiator, but not the Gladiator that everyone seems to remember,
The one with the boxing flick with Cuba.
with Cuba Gooding Jr. and the dude who was in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
He
Look at
did that. I saw that movie when I was in Vancouver when I met you in film school in '92. I saw it up there on a weekend by myself. Went to a movie and saw 3 movies that day. Saw Gladiator, saw Ruby, the one with Danny
I saw
Aiello.
Ruby with you, and
Did
then I
you?
split.
And then you split. You watched one with me. And you're like, fuck this. And I was like, I'm gonna see 2 more movies, and I snuck into the other 2. I think he did Striking Distance as well.
With Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
And Sarah Jessica Parker.
But
in
prior
Pittsburgh.
to Pittsburgh. But prior to this, he was a gaffer, big time gaffer. He worked on Hots, dude, as an electrician. Remember Hots? Hold On to Sex.
He was a
Movie with the seal.
repo man. He was a grip.
He brought a little something to this movie, I think. He wrote Jack's Back. He wrote and directed it. He also wrote Striking Distance. He brought something to this movie. A lot of people, I think, there's a big discussion as to whether this movie is so bad it's good, or did they know that they were making a film that was kind of playing with archetypes, stereotypes? Were they parodying male machismo? What do you think? Were they sitting here going like,
They
we're gonna-
consciously sort of like were they knowingly kind of parodying this type of movie, or
Yes.
were they making this
or
type
were
of
they
movie?
making this type of movie and they were so committed it's just funny?
I gotta say they were making this movie.
You really? You don't think?
I don't know.
I don't know. If you see Jack's Back, there's a sense of humor going on there that makes me think that maybe the
He
dude
kind of
was winking a
underneath
bit
it.
while he was making this picture.
I'll take care of it.
Did you know that Joel Silver was the producer of this movie?
I did. It was a silver picture.
It was a silver picture. Joel Silver, of course, responsible for many movies, like, of course, The Matrix, all the Matrix movies, the Lethal Weapon movies. Any action movie you liked in the last I don't know 20 years, he probably had a hand in. And some of the ones you didn't like either. But Roadhouse was his. Do you know he was a producer on Weird Science?
I did not know
That's
that.
the one movie that really doesn't fit into the whole Silver oeuvre. But here's something I guarantee you didn't know about Joel Silver.
Okay.
Did you know that Joel Silver invented the cesarean section when he roundhouse kicked his way out of his mother's womb? He is responsible for the sport of extreme frisbee.
Wow.
Ultimate Frisbee. Considered the primary founder of Ultimate Frisbee in 1968 at Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey. He's from Jersey. He's from South Orange, New Jersey. I had relatives in Maplewood.
Did they know of him as the great Frisbee?
But he attended Lafayette College where he formed the first collegiate Ultimate Frisbee team in 1970. So this dude had two careers. He created Ultimate Frisbee, and then he was like, fuck, I'm
That
going to
wasn't
produce
enough?
movies. No, wasn't enough.
Would have been enough for some men.
Do you know that
Like myself.
Joel Silver walked into Burger King, ordered a Big Mac, and got one? Do you have any Joel Silver factoids?
On his birthday, Joel Silver randomly selects one lucky child to be thrown into the sun.
I've heard that. It takes 14 puppeteers to make Joel Silver smile, but only 2 to make him destroy an orphanage. Joel Silver built a time machine and went back in time to stop the JFK assassination. As Oswald shot, Joel Silver met all 3 bullets with his beard, deflecting them. JFK's head exploded out of sheer amazement.
Care of each other.
So how come you never got married?
I did.
This has got to be the date scene, right?
There's some sex coming up.
There's probably a little nudity, you think?
Let's hope so.
I mean, it would be nice to even out the female nudity with the copious amounts of male nudity that we've seen in this picture.
She's hot, he's hot.
Together,
Together, it's just hot.
instant heat.
They should call this chapter 26 hot.
When you were a kid watching movies like this,
Yeah.
did you learn anything about how to make moves on a girl? You can never be as movie smooth as, say, Dalton, but did you ever try? Like, do you think movies are responsible for whatever mojo you got with chicks?
Oh, did I learn my...
Moves?
Did I learn some moves?
Like, did you take that move where you take a woman's hands and rub them up and down your chest? Like, I would never do that. Like, feel my man boobs. I mean, I guess if I had pecs like Swayze, I'd be like, feel them. But I would never take a woman's hands and put them on my man boobs. I would also not direct a woman's hands to my pants because I think she would just smack me.
You would never do that?
I wouldn't do that either. It takes
wouldn't
too
pick her
much
up?
effort. No, because you pick a woman up, and then I'd get all sweaty and shit, and my arms would fucking buckle, my legs would buckle. I'd probably fall and collapse on her and kill her. So it'd probably be best to just not engage in that. Like you don't want to be sweaty. Have you ever done this? Like made out with a chick against a wall?
I think I might have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Never in my life have I fucked a chick against a wall. That just doesn't look comfortable to me. I'm a real lay down kind of guy.
You
I'm a
like get
bottom.
lay down?
Yeah, and it's not a good decision for me to be on top anyway, for her safety, and also because I run out of breath so quickly.
I think I believe I have. I can't say. Perhaps I've taken my cue from this movie.
You're rubbing her against a brick wall, sir,
Well,
and
I'm-
not even a smooth brick
It's not
wall.
like I did it in that room.
Right, I'm sure you didn't. But you're
Years
Dalton, and
later.
you're rubbing the chick against the brick wall. Like it's not in real life. The chick would be like, "Ow, can we move to the couch or bed or something like that?"
Well, she did laugh and like they moved away from it, so perhaps she did say something like that. Ooh.
Yeah, Rowdy likes to shoot off mirrors, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that
was
sex
it.
was just too powerful to show. Too darn good.
It was too hot.
And in movies, when people wake up, particularly after having sex, they never look like that.
No.
Never. Now, if in real life, this girl she would quickly run to the bathroom,
Wash.
brush her teeth, wash out, maybe wash the thing.
Yeah.
But she would not just go out and talk to this dude.
No.
Maybe I'm sheltered and maybe I'm crazy, but Two impossibly beautiful people never step naked out onto a ledge and just hang out talking, do they?
Like those two people?
Yeah.
Like outside of the realm of this movie?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of pain. When
I think it would be wrong to say that two beautiful people don't stand around naked.
Really?
It's got to happen somewhere.
Probably. But outside of a porno set, you think this is normal?
Well, I mean, they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's not like they're like in Fifth
But
Avenue.
Their neighbor is right across the street. The
Yeah,
evil
but
psycho
you can
runs
see
the
how
town.
hard it is to see across.
Well,
the...
not in this movie, as depicted in this movie, you just basically look and you could see what's going on.
But see,
across the
Dalton
lake.
doesn't care. He's out there with his cannon out. He's fucking like telling him.
His cannon out.
He's
You know
a-
why that is? Because the Bermuda Triangle used to be the Bermuda Square until Dalton Roundhouse kicked one of the corners off. That's how tough that motherfucker is. So he don't care if he's spotted. I think it's awfully weird and telling that like he's completely nude and she's covering up with a sheet. Probably because she's got more to show than he does, I guess. So now they're gonna do it on this uncomfortable roof.
That's all this movie is about: is sex on uncomfortable surfaces.
And look at him, he's just he rocks back and forth into the frame, and he's gonna watch. Oh, look, he's doing the two hands on each cheek, like a
He
hand on
is.
cheeks, cupping
He's
her ass.
grabbing it.
So you're putting on a show, and you don't know, but you could pretty much assume your neighbor is just watching. I mean, have you ever had sex in public? Where you know you could be seen? I mean, granted, as you said, they're not on Fifth Avenue in New York, but
Well, that old coot's around.
is that what really, you're a thin person. Speaking as a thin person, would you
Yeah.
have sex in public?
It would not be on the top of my list to have sex in public.
You don't have like that exhibitionist streak. You
Nah.
think that's what it takes to fuck in public, to have an exhibitionist streak? I as a fat person, I assume it requires having a good body. So if you feel like you have a good body, you don't care where you fuck, whoever sees you. Good body and a big dick if you're a dude. I have neither. I have a terrible body and a small dick, so I would never fuck in public. But whenever I see movies where people are fucking in public, they're always thin, and I'm like, I guess that's what it takes. You gotta be thin, and you gotta have a big dick. Speaking as a thin dude with a big dick, can you back that up?
It never occurs to me to want to like have sex in public.
You've been spending time with Elizabeth Clay.
Not where people. I mean, like there's sex in public places,
Right.
but that's different from like sex out in the open. But
Like, why would you want to have sex on a rooftop when there's a comfy bed 3 feet away? Do you think
Well,
chicks
I'm
like
more
that?
just like my thing would be like I think maybe I would start thinking like, are we gonna slide off, and that might ruin the
Right?
mood.
That's logic. But I guess in
I'm not-
movies, passion overrides logic.
Yeah.
And you don't care.
And
You're
they're
just
harnessed in.
Well, there's that. But in the reality of the movie, you're just so passionate about the person that you're fucking. Excuse me. That you're willing to fucking dangerous like slidey places where you
Yeah.
could literally
On
fall
a-
off the roof.
Yeah, I that would be my issue. I would be fearful of sliding off the roof. If I knew the neighbor was right across the way, it would not occur to me that would be fun.
They really redid the Double Deuce, didn't they?
Yeah.
Last time we saw it was a total shithole. Now it looks like a shopping mall. Yeah, I don't. Whenever I watch flicks, I'm always like,
It's
"God, that
amazing
poison."
timing where it's just like the new guy pulls in
Mm-hmm.
and basically the four guys pull up.
You know what that is? Screenwriting. Because in real life, that don't happen like that.
It's not that. It would take like the next day.
Totally. Or like
24
they would
hours.
show up in 2 separate times or something like that. This dude, he's tired of getting his ass handed to him. See that other dude, the tall
giant?
dude, the giant? He played Lothar in The Rocketeer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the dude who was
Wow.
like, "Where's the rocket?" You had all
Wow.
the makeup on and stuff like that. Oh, there it is.
Look
sir.
at him, he's just smashing bottles
Yeah,
as
this
fast
dude.
as he can.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not getting in a fight. I'm just gonna break bottles. And I'm gonna pick up. Oh, never do that. Never grab a dude from behind so he can just bash the back of his head into your mouth.
Got a skinny little runt named Dalton working here.
So this is the. I mean, would you? There's Keith David in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how strange is that?
Maybe he had a part that got cut out.
Maybe, or maybe this was early on in his career. Would you rather drink in the place looking like it did in the beginning of the movie or now? Now it looks a little too
Now
much
it
like a
looks like
Suncoast
Chili's.
video. Yeah, it does. It kind of has a Chili's feel to it.
Oh, the guy. Here comes the giant.
Where's the rocket?
I sure ain't gonna show you my dick.
So which one would you rather drink at?
I would personally somewhere in between when it was the way it was, where like there was too many fights in the beginning. But somewhere in between where like it became Chili's and it was like a totally dysfunctional, boxing ring. Somewhere in between there.
I think I would prefer to drink it. I mean, I wouldn't be into the wild ruckus that it was, but I think I'd prefer to be at the other joint with the chicken wire and stuff. But not like chicken wire was necessary because people were throwing bottles at a blind dude, but just because it had a nice ambiance to it.
There's a lot more flavor.
Mm-hmm. Now it's very generic.
I ain't gonna drive all the way down south to go to a Chili's kind of bar with a bunch of dudes in polo shirts.
No shit. No, you go to the mall, like in the Sears parking lot. You can go to this joint. See, Jeff Healy's character came out to see what was going on, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Because Healy knows, I believe that Jeff Healy knows
the Sam Elliott character.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I mean, you're not going to see anything. You might as well just have somebody tell you what happened.
Say hi.
You think so?
Don't reduce his life into a series of people telling him what happened.
I mean, if I was
get up, Jeff.
If I was
I'll tell you
blind, I
what's
would be
going
terrified of like getting fallen over or something like that. I wouldn't really want. I'd want to stay in one place and have people explain what happened to me all the time. That's just my take on
it. Well, I think Jeff's a little bit more ambitious. But just like with the sex, it's like, it's a movie, so.
Hi.
Hey.
Who's tougher, do you think? Sam Elliott's character or Dalton's character?
I think the way that the movie presents it is that in a fight, possibly...
Is it Dalton or is it Wade Garrett? Who's tougher? Wade Garrett is the character portrayed by Sam Elliott.
They're portraying him as the
guy who taught
Yeah.
Dalton all his moves, including how to fuck chicks in very uncomfortable places like against
exactly.
a wall.
Whoa.
Look at this shit.
Wow.
There's ever a series of people pulling their drawers down. That's a rare, like, male pubic hair shot, too, in a movie.
God, I feel like dancing. You like to dance, Doc?
Yeah.
I'm in awe.
You know how tough Wade Garrett is?
No.
When he does a push-up, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down. I watched this movie on my own without prompting last summer. Yeah, I think it was in June that I watched it.
Okay.
I was up in Vancouver shooting a movie, and I had the DVD, so I wanted to watch. I didn't even watch it on TV. I actually put it in to watch the DVD. And that scene and this scene here made me think that he was trying to get into a three-way with them.
He was?
Yeah, that's how I read this scene.
You think the idea of pulling your pants down to show your pubic hair?
Pretty much. It's just like, wants
there.
to gauge her reaction and gauge Dalton's reaction and see if, like, maybe Dalton's like, all right, yeah, let's do it. But it doesn't come to pass. Might have been a weirder movie for that.
If
but
it
not
threw
out
in
of
that
place in
moment.
this in the flick like this. I don't think it would have. Maybe with that three-way scene, it might have not have become a cable classic.
It would have been too. It would have taken some. You would have lost half your audience right
Yeah,
there.
people have been like, "Oh, this is gross." No, never mind the fact that like
It can
dudes
be
are getting cut.
homoerotic, but it can't be straight.
Can't
out.
cross that line.
Can't cross that line.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many dudes with their shirts off in this picture. Like it could have cut right from that bar at all three of them in bed, like sleeping morning after kind of thing. Then they all go out on the roof and have a cigarette, and then they get in a three-way on the roof as well. And Ben Gazzara is still sitting on his porch, rocking back and forth, going, "Jesus, I gotta get over there."
I'd watch that movie.
Entirely too many brains to have an ass like that. You got your hands full.
What? You make Roadhouse, right?
Yeah.
And years later, it's embraced and hailed as kind of a camp cult classic.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, right on, like, all right, we made Mallrats.
Yeah.
Mallrats comes out, nobody likes it.
Yeah.
Years later, it finds its audience on video, and people go like, that's a really good movie. And, like, people like it. Like, nobody says it's genius, but people really found an audience.
Yeah.
That was a movie that, it's just we tried to make a comedy, and the comedy eventually wound up working.
Yeah.
But it's not like people go like it's redefined as a new classic or something like that. It's just like finally they found the movie on video.
People took it for its intentions.
Took it for its intentions. This movie gets embraced years down the road.
Yeah.
For something that it wasn't really intending to be, How do you take it as the filmmaker?
I think you gotta find. I think you have to be happy with it. I think I'm happy with it.
You think so? You happy just that anybody likes it? It don't matter under what circumstances.
These guys. If you take it in the context of the time, I mean, you're making this movie back then. It's like there's a fucking monster truck, but at the time you're like, monster trucks will stand the test of time. You're making a movie, for the time, and if years later it sort of, it kind of was what it was, and if people found it to be watchable because it's a little campy, it's like, shit, man, having a movie that people want to watch is, you gotta feel good about that, because you don't want to be the other guy. You don't want to be the guy where it's like you made the movie that people just don't want to watch,
right? Regardless, movie that people are absolutely indifferent about.
Yeah, the movie that turns TVs off, where they're just like, oh fuck, the movie that can't even get on TV,
right? Well, we've made a lot of movies that can't get on TV.
But that's because we talk. There's too
much dirty talk in it.
But you just want to know that people are watching your movie. And I think with time, it would become easier to take, like 2 years after you made it. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, if you made a movie with one intention and then immediately people show, different intentions. Or people like it for other reasons. Maybe you feel bad, in the months right after. But if you, 10 years later, I don't know how many years later it is. What is it?
Oh,
16 years later?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what it is. If this was 89, it's 99 would be 10 years. And 99, so 18 years? No, 17 years.
Yeah.
God, they blew up Red's a joint.
They did.
God willing, Red wasn't in it. Well, I think Red was, and then somebody's got to go in and drag him out. But hopefully Red wasn't in there. It's like Dalton destroyed it with his gaze.
Well, what the fuck? The ambulance.
The ambulance was like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Obviously, he's dead.
Oh, he wasn't there. Red's safe. But
he's pissed.
Yeah. Safe but pissed. That's the best we can hope for in life. Did you know that Roadhouse was turned into a stage play?
I did not know that.
The proper name of the play was Roadhouse, the stage version of the cinema classic that starred Patrick Swayze, except this one stars Tamac from the 80s cult classic The Last Dragon wearing a blonde mullet wig. That's the full name of the play.
Wow.
It played at the Barrow Street Theater back in 2004, had a limited run from December 10th to February 8th in New York on Barrow Street at 7th Ave. And was widely held to be really fun, really good. They called it it wasn't a musical, it was a brawlsicle.
A brawlsicle.
A brawlsicle.
That would entice me. I would go.
Wouldn't you? And what they did was they had somebody doing Foley right off stage.
Oh, really? Fights? Because
fights, don't sound, in real world don't sound like they do in movies. So they had somebody off camera, or not off camera, but off stage, with Foley noises. So if somebody threw a punch, you'd hear psh, and breaking bottles, same thing. They really kind of went all out for it.
Maybe this commentary it'll have a revival.
A renewed interest. Come back. It'd be nice. I mean, it's a shame something like that doesn't make it to Broadway. With all the crap they do throw up on Broadway now, why not that? Why do you think she does this dance? I mean, I know she does it at the behest of Ben Gazzara, but why does her character feel the need to kowtow to this clown?
Because he beat her up.
Is that it? Like one slap in the eye and you're like, get up there and dance?
I mean, obviously, she's also a little bit of an exhibitionist. So I think she's enjoying herself. She likes to entertain. And even though she's mad at him for hitting him, she's excited to entertain. She's an entertainer.
At heart.
At heart.
But she's not embarrassing anybody but herself, I say. Like, I know the whole plan is to embarrass the club, but, truly this is just not nearly as embarrassing to the club as it is to her. Oh, she's not done.
She's not done.
Denied, Dalton. Dalton denied.
She's trying to take it back to the chicken wire.
God, it looks like she's wearing an insanely massive pair of panties, doesn't it? Oh, she is. I mean, they're kind of. They don't.
just
They don't,
cut
they
real
don't
high.
make them like that anymore, do they?
Nah.
I mean, they're long. It's not like they're granny panties, but they're
They're
insanely
just
long.
very high on the waist.
Yeah.
They're very strange cut.
She's not really doing a good job of hiding that.
We
other
can't really
nipple.
see her belly button.
Well, that's because those panties are so high. I mean, she might as well be wearing fucking suspenders on those things. If you're an actor,
Okay.
and you've acted in movies.
I've performed.
in some of the movies. You were in Clerks, and
I
you were
was.
in Mallrats, and you were in Chasing Amy, and you were in Dogma, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back,
Yeah.
and Clerks 2. You weren't in Jersey Girl. Neither you or I were in Jersey
We
Girl.
weren't.
You've acted.
Yeah.
But you've never had to act opposite somebody who was taking their clothes off or naked on your body. Do you think that affects you? Like, do you think when he had to pick up the girl with no top on and you know, her cleavage is rubbing against him, that it affects him in some way?
You mean in a sexual way?
Yeah, and
Or is he
I know the dude's married and he's been married for a long, long time, but do you think it, like, as an
You think
actor,
he's
not
just-
necessarily him, but do you think it affects an actor? Oh, this is shit, man.
This is when the shit comes out.
Yeah, this is the dude he's going
This
to
is
have
when,
to
like-
face down.
Whoa. Look at that. Matrix moment.
Don't give him the nod, Dalton, because they're gonna get their asses handed to him. Do you think it affects him? Do you think it, as an actor, not Patrick Swayze, but an actor? Do you think you go like, wow, this is cool. I had boobs on me and stuff like that,
It's kind I assume so.
or do you think they're too into like, I'm working, I'm not thinking about this shit?
I assume that, like, you know, you can't deny that there's a naked woman against you. I'm sure he's got to, like, you know, not be disgusted by it.
Right.
I don't know. What about you? Would you feel awkward?
I would totally feel awkward. I wouldn't. I mean, you know, I think it's naked women are best looked at on a computer screen. I don't want to be in a room with one.
So it would be hard for you to stay in character.
Yeah, it would be a little tough for me to stay in character, I believe. Or not so much. I think I could get the job done. God, he used the dude's body to vault onto the stage with the pool cue.
He's calling him out.
Yeah, he wants a little piece of
He knows
Sam Elliott.
karate.
So it would seem he's got that lightning bolt in his ear. That communicates worlds. You don't fuck with the dude who's got a lightning bolt in his ear. Dude kind of looks like a not so deeply molted version of Billy Ray Cyrus, doesn't he?
He does a little bit.
Could you do
He
that?
was-
You think you could flip a dude over your body?
If he was helping me. If he was helping me, like using his weight.
See, Sam Elliott's got a bum leg, and this dude knows it, and he's going
He's
for
taking
him.
advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, Dalton to the rescue.
See, this is a moment that proves the argument. Who would win?
In what way?
Well, it's like,
Apparently, the guy with the gun wins. 'cause
Yeah, I
he
guess so.
Pops it off, and everyone
Lead
stops
talks.
fighting.
I think that guy literally has worn the karate guy's wearing the same outfit the whole movie. And that little horn necklace.
That dude?
He's like Popeye. He's got the same outfit every day.
You went right for the Popeye reach? So this dude, the dude with the lightning bolt and the hair and the mullet and a half, his name is Marshall Teague.
Marshall?
Yeah, and in a weird bit of synergy in this Elvis thing that's going on in this movie, he played Rick Colton in the Elvis and Me TV movie, 1988.
Ah,
How strange is that?
there's a lot of Elvis in here.
A lot of Elvis in here, and also, did you know there's a dude in this movie named Anthony DeLongis who was, he plays a character, but he's also a knife and bullwhip expert. Batman Returns, he was a bullwhip trainer for and choreographer for Michelle Pfeiffer. But the dude's career goes back, Sword and the Sorcerer, sir. Remember
Wow.
that picture?
I remember that.
He was a trainer on that as well. He's in Masters of the Universe. He was the stunt double for Frank Langella, but he also played a character. I believe he played Blade, Masters of the Universe 2. Not 2, but, you know, as well. But everyone, some people probably made fun of that dude growing up. Like, come on, dude, swords, grow up. But in Hollywood, they have a use for a dude who knows how to wield a sword.
Well, he's got a whole career. And bullwhips.
And bullwhips as well.
You really think people made fun of him?
Maybe that's why he got tough, because he was tired of getting picked on, getting sand kicked in his face. But yeah, I think maybe not to his face, but people be like, That dude's playing with his bullwhips again. You know, that dude's playing with his swords again. But he turned it into a fucking career. This is a pretty pivotal, famous scene.
Where the guy with his pants tucked into his cowboy boots comes running out.
Yeah. It's the one where what's his name? Ben Gazzara's character, who I always forget. Brad Wesley is being shown to terrorize the town. There's John Doe is the ex-bartender. He's joined their little rabble. And now is where you get to see Bigfoot go to work.
This is where the monster truck really comes into play.
Totally. You were sitting there going like, they brought a monster truck in, they better use it.
You thought it was for show.
Da bang. I mean, that's, you know, and people wonder why this movie has such staying power, you know, because the country is made up of more places than just New York and L.A. Yeah. And it's that whole middle of the
Everything
country
in between
where they love shit like this. They love to see a truck driving over shit.
And the idea of a giant truck is a real menace.
Yeah.
It's not something that in LA you really worry about.
No. Size is everything, and a giant truck, man, it sends a very clear
It's
message.
pretty amazing that the whole town comes out.
Wouldn't you? I mean, you can't stop it, so you might as well watch it. I would be there. But how come Dalton's not jumping in?
Yeah, that's what I think is weird. Is it's a total pedestrian event. I mean, it's just a matter of going on and being like, "Hey, the town shithead's gonna fucking mow down this guy's Ford dealership.
Let's check it out."
But if you don't, he's going down.
See, apparently he used to like her.
But not anymore.
Well, yeah, he likes her still, but
He does, but he saw her.
She belongs to Dalton, my friend. As do we all.
She's a catch. She's a doctor.
She still
smart
looks
lady
good today too.
She does. She's an attractive lady.
She was in that Charlie's Angels picture. She looked good in that movie too. Good actress, man. She's awesome in Drugstore Cowboy.
She's excellent.
Where she's like, "You won't fuck me, and I always have to drive." You know, fantastic.
Let's go, Jimmy.
When will Dalton step up, you think?
You got insurance, don't you?
I've seen the movie, so I know that he's going to step up. Look
Well,
at
there
God
he's
damn it. Once again with his fucking shirt
glistening.
off. Glowing.
Just punching
almost.
a board.
Do people still wear their sweats like that where they roll down the top? Every time I wear sweats, I wear two shirts, so I would never do something like that. But does that still a common occurrence?
I don't even necessarily know how much people wear sweats anymore.
Really?
I mean, and
What's replaced the
that
sweats?
sort of like
Yeah, sweatpants. What's replaced them?
athletic pants,
What?
more
Describe?
like a lighter weight material.
Like a Lycra?
I don't know if it's lycra, but I wish I had more. I'm just saying, I don't.
What do you
see-
wear if you go out and work out?
I usually wear
You're
shorts.
so tough you wear jeans.
I don't wear anything. I don't wear any bottoms. I just
Scott
wear a
Moore's
top.
so tough. He doesn't eat food, understands the only safe haven from his fists is in his mouth.
I don't see a lot of sweatpants. Not that traditional kind of sweatpants. No, you don't see it. I go to the Y in the morning. I don't see it a lot.
You think that's all Sam Elliott's real hair?
It looks good. It looks
looks
real.
pretty good,
It looks
doesn't
good.
it?
I think it is. I'd buy it. I think he must be training now.
Getting ready to take on.
Well, he's pissed. He's lost his.
Oh,
See?
snap.
He lost his shit.
Yeah.
Never lose your shit.
Is that one of the lines?
I don't think so, but
I like
I'm
it.
paraphrasing.
You pulled a great line that doesn't exist in the movie.
Taught me as much as I ever taught you.
We're not even listening to the movie. We're literally reading lines.
Yeah, it would probably be. I just don't believe in listening to the movie when you're doing a commentary track. I mean,
too
basically,
distracting.
it's too distracting.
That is.
Come on, sir. How gay is that? That is this movie screams out for just a fireworks of jism crisscrossing the screen, cobwebbing like spiderwebs,
Like
like,
retitle it Load House.
and then back to fighting. What's in the background? Looks like something dead on the ground.
I think it's a stick. Or a big stick.
There was a
large
deer that he
rope.
ripped the throat out of as he's practicing for his next big move. Yeah, see, this is the part of the movie that this dude's way too hell bent on the guy
Is this
across
where
the
she
lake.
comes to say, like, come on?
This is where she comes to say, like, I'm gonna be the
Let's
last
move.
woman to wear a belt before they go out of fashion. Yeah, wouldn't you get out of there? Like, you found each other, and you know,
Sex is hot.
sex is hot. You might as well just get out of town. Can't do nothing about that dude, but that's why he's a hero. He stands up for the little guy, for all the little guys.
Taking and taking until somebody takes.
But for Christ's sakes, put a fucking shirt on. It's unbelievable, man. He's mad at her. Why would you be mad at her?
Pissed. He's lost his shit. He's not gonna win. Or is
Not
he
like
leaving?
that. No, if he's not packed or anything.
You're gonna win. Who's this for?
You want to? It'd probably be easy to figure out. You just put on the headphones.
I think so.
She's like, I don't want to fuck on the tin roof. Come on, it's hot, and our neighbor can see us. Oh shit! What blew up?
Maybe his car. I'm not sure.
I think it's the dude's. Oh, it's the dude's house, isn't it? The dude whose barn
the
he's
old
living in.
codger.
So he's gonna go pull the dude out
He's
of the
going
fire.
in there. See, obviously, there's a reason why he wasn't afraid to have sex on that little
You see
thing,
him
because
kick
he
that
just
door
jumped over. He just jumped off of it.
Yeah, well, I'd still
Why would you be afraid? Okay.
This dude sleeps in a onesie.
Union Jack. What are those things called?
Unitard. Oh man, the whole place went up.
It's one of those movies where it's like there's always multiple charges.
Yeah, what do you think that's supposed to represent? I think it's supposed to represent, because they're not saying like they laid multiple charges in the house. I think someone lit in the reality of the movie, somebody lit a fire, although it was obviously explosive, but it's hitting things like the gas heater or fucking something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Beyond the gas heater.
something else.
The fridge.
Yeah, maybe it hits a little Freon. I mean, I guess if it hit the water heater, nothing would blow up. Oh, that is the height of villainy right there.
When you're on a fucking dirt bike.
Yeah. When not only are you on a fucking dirt bike, but you're laughing about what you've just done. Go on, rip that lightning bolt out of his ear.
He's
Do
not
it up, Sways dog.
This is where, isn't this where it's
They
just
tumble like lovers, sir. This is where they fight, and I believe this is where the
he rips his, he's gonna rip his heart out.
He rips his neck open. He grabs his thorax and shit like that. Once again, maybe it's just us, maybe it's because we're guys, but we fall prey to the action film. Like we suddenly stop talking and start watching it. We want to see what's going to happen. We want to see the moves. Do you think like somewhere deep in our subconscious we're cataloging moves in case we ever get into a situation like this where some dude blows up your neighbor's house and you can
And he's
tackle
on a
him?
dirt bike, and I'm like, I gotta figure out what to do.
Oh.
I don't know if that's it.
I tell you, man, one punch from either of these dudes, I'd be dead. There's no way on earth that I would feel like I'm going to give back. I would be a dead man.
That's why I go to the gym. I train on running very quickly.
Get
It's just
speed
more
on
about
your
escape.
side. Yeah, I have movie fights. I watch them. I'm like, oh, God, I wouldn't be able to take one of those punches. And they never cry. Nobody ever goes, ow.
Cry.
I would cry. I swear to God, you hit me that hard. I'd be
Well,
like,
most people
oh, what
in
the
the
fuck did you do that for?
Well, that would just sort of, if you put that in the context. Oh, hit by a log.
He was grabbing him by his hair, man. See, I guess all is fair when you're fighting. Like sometimes, like this dude's
Dirty.
doing all smooth and shit, but like, I guess if you can grab a dude by the top of his mullet and yank, that's cool.
Well, it's all bets are off when you're in this kind of fight, a fight of rage. See, he's losing because he's got to come back. Watch, here it comes. He's gonna grab it.
He's gonna go for the throat. It's a move that Dalton swore he would never. Look at it's like he's a little raccoon, a reverse raccoon. See how the white around his eyes? Here it comes, sir.
Oh, that's the one move you gotta learn is just kick somebody in the balls.
Apparently, that's a real movie move too.
But see, even in the movies, like these guys in real life,
How is
this
this
doesn't
dude
exist.
fighting in jeans that tight?
It's the 80s, man. That's how they
guess.
trained.
Oh, now he's gonna rip the throat because she's got to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
got
gonna pull
a gun.
So he's justified in homicide. Here we go. Rip this goddamn throat out, sir. And then kicked him into the fucking lake.
just insult to injury. Put him in the
Proving
water.
further that if Dalton and Mr. T walked into a bar, the bar would be instantly destroyed, as that level of awesome cannot be contained in one building. I think you go on record as saying you don't even need Mr. T. After a fight scene like that, Dalton can't be contained by a building.
Killing another guy is not necessarily sexy to a doctor.
No. Well, you know, she took the Hippocratic Oath. She was promised to save lives. But it's like, hey, he had a gun, bitch. Fuck.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be able to control his anger more.
Well, just because the dude took a few philosophy courses because he got a doctorate? Doctorate in pain.
He obviously doesn't care that she's not going to fuck him anymore.
No. He's so hell-bent for leather against Ben Gazzara's character, he doesn't care. Yeah, set him to drift in the angriest way you can.
Now, why stop there?
Why not just cross the river and kill Ben Gazzara at that point?
You're in a
Because
berserker
obviously
rage.
he's by himself. Like, there's
Right.
nobody watching.
He's out on the deck. You're in a berserker rage. Like, just get on that guy's back and float him across the river.
That
and
would
then...
be. Oh, that would lift this movie into the absolute fucking premier position of cheese cult classic.
If they used a
If
body
he
as a
used
raft.
the dead body as a raft, paddled over to Ben Gazzara, who just stood there on his porch watching in disbelief the whole time, and then climbed up and took his throat out too. You know, we should probably Google search Dalton getting his ass kicked, but I think we will get 0 results because it just doesn't happen. See, why didn't the dude? How come Ben Gazzara's character doesn't just blow up the fucking bar? Like, why blow up Red's house? I guess he just wants to fuck with Patrick Swayze in a big bad
He's
way.
a sadist.
But why not blow up the bar? I mean, it's one thing to have your girlfriend come in and take her blouse off and then throw a chair at the glasses, but
It's like a cat playing with a mouse. He's trying to show his power. If you distribute the that kind of thing, then it makes you even more powerful. It's like, I can fuck you up at any time, but I don't want to yet because I enjoy fucking with you too much.
do you think he still believes it at this point? Or
Look at him. He's flipping a coin. I mean, I don't know what he's deciding. Yeah.
He's trying to figure out whether he wants Chinese
Yeah.
or a pizza for lunch. Do you think the dude is that stupid? Like, after you see Dalton rip a dude's throat out, wouldn't you be like, I ain't gonna fuck with this dude. This dude is fucking nuts.
Well, I assume that, he is packing heat at that point.
Yeah, but regardless, it's like, wouldn't you stop throwing gasoline on the fire
And just end it.
and just be like, you know what?
Or you would back away.
Yeah, I would totally back away. I
So
would
that's
just be
the
like,
end of the movie for you.
wouldn't it be, what a great ending to a
Like, just
movie? It's
cut
like,
to Ben Gazzara on his porch.
yeah,
He's like, you win.
It's like that moment in The Aviator where Alec Baldwin's
He's just
character finally loses. He goes, fuck. That's what I would do. I would just kind of back away and be like, I'm not going to fuck with this pilgrim anymore. He's fucking psychotic. He ripped a man's throat out.
That would be it.
And walked away from Kelly Lynch at the same time. He's
he
bloodthirsty.
put bloodthirst over pussy, and that in your mind is sort of like,
Proving once again that this movie is insanely gay at its heart. Dude will walk away from a gorgeous, good-looking woman who really seems to like him and will have sex with him anywhere he wants, to tussle with some dude on the lake
on
shore.
the beach.
Yeah, to get real physical and play grab ass with some fucking psycho with a lightning bolt earring and a real big mullet.
He's a different breed. I'm going to say he's a different breed of cat than me and you. Uh-oh.
There's a dude in this movie who was a professional wrestler, a guy named Terry Funk.
Was he the guy with the he was one of the bouncers at the beginning?
I believe so. I think I can pretty much tell you who he was. No, I can't. Unfortunately. But Terry Funk is a professional wrestler, and his dad, Dory Funk, was also a grappler, as they say, from 1940 to 1970.
Wow.
But this dude, Terry Funk, he's at age 56, he captured the WCW Hardcore Championship in a match against Norman Smiley at the Spring Stampede on April 16th, 2000. I mean, this is one of his trademark move, the spinning toe hold and the chicken punch.
Chicken punch is not. I don't know if I would rename it.
He's known for retiring from wrestling only to return, and he's also a cousin of actor Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, really? Wow.
But that's one of the secret charms of this movie, right? Is having a dude who's a wrestler in the cast. Because again, the movie is very popular on TBS, TNT, and soon, or if not already, the country music station, country music television, CMT. So you're appealing to that audience,
Oh shit.
It was tails. That's why he was flipping the coin. It had nothing to do with lunch
It wasn't
whatsoever.
a lunch thing.
It was all about killing Sam Elliott.
What a prick.
Yeah, he's got to go down at this point.
If you didn't like him before, you have to not like him now. If you're somewhere in that.
I think it's rather strange that Patrick Swayze had to turn him over to discover he was dead. Like, he saw the dude laying on the bar and he didn't think two things about
He
it.
got beat up. He
Yeah, but
figured
why
he
not
was
go lay on
catching
the
a nap.
stage? Like, you have to climb up onto the bar.
He's a bouncer.
Yeah, but still, you're in pain. You don't want to have to move any further than you're moving. You think it's that tough to pull a knife out of somebody?
I think it was hard. I think it was more emotionally difficult for him.
Is that what that performance was about?
Yeah, I don't think it was a physical.
Was it a sword in the stone
difficult-
kind of
no,
thing where he's like,
it
if I
wasn't
can draw this
fucking-
blade from his
It wasn't
ribcage?
Excalibur. They are actually.
They're ready, sir. They know he's coming.
See, they got guns.
Yeah. This dude's
That's
itching his
why
back
they're
with a
not
shotgun.
scared.
John Doe is itching his back with a shotgun. I mean, if I was a person from the South or something, I'd be like, wow, they're just flat out calling me a hayseed.
There's the dude, the wrestler's the guy with the white cowboy boots on.
Right. He was
Guy's
happy to fire
pump
that.
action.
I fired a gun
He's shaking
once
his
or
leg like
twice,
Elvis.
and it's tough, man. There's a lot of throw to it.
On a shotgun?
Yeah.
Like a 12 gauge?
Yes. Even a handgun, there's a lot of kick to it.
Yeah.
Like in movies, they make it seem so easy to fire a gun, and it really, it's not. It takes a level of kind of concentration in terms of like holding the gun steady and whatnot.
Yes.
Like all those movies, the gang movies, where they hold the gun on the side and whatnot.
Very difficult
Tough
to
to
aim.
pull that off. Tough to aim and tough to just you're constantly getting the recoil to kick back.
So funny that they never came up with the idea that he actually might not be in the car.
I know, and they actually opened the door of the flaming, burning car to be like, let's get him.
Fight that prick.
They are actually.
That might be the Blade Master right there. I'm not sure. Can't say for sure which one. I mean, I know the dude's name was what we said it was before.
Somebody's down. The wrestler's down.
They're all going down, sir. I don't know if you're aware of it, but they're all going down.
They speaking of the popularity of the film, there is actually I believe it's going straight to video, but there is a sequel to Roadhouse.
Get out of here.
There is.
What's it called?
Roadhouse 2.
Last Call?
Yeah.
Could have picked that one. Wow, when's that come out?
I think it comes out this year. I think we can look.
Oh, it comes out.
People
You
can
know
look
what?
for it this
I
year.
bet you it comes out same time on DVD as this new Roadhouse DVD comes out. 'Cause
So you
that's how
could
they do
literally
that.
watch one and then the other.
Once you're done with this, you can go to the other. Is Swayze in it? Swayze dog can't be in it. I would have heard about that.
No. There is no Swayze in it. I don't know if there's necessarily anybody from the original cast.
Tough to reassemble that cast, man. That's a
That's
once in a lifetime
returning.
thing. This movie made as much as Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but in $1989. So adjusted grosses, it definitely earned more than our two movies did. Our two top grossers.
Whoa.
Yeah,
There he goes.
this is kind of like a High Noonish kind of thing, except he's
It's
got
all-
to kill a
it's-
bunch of people instead of one.
It's a modern day Western.
You know who Mike
Not
Nelson
the only
is?
one. No.
Mike Nelson is one of the dudes who did Mystery Science Theater. Not the original dude. He's the dude that came way later.
Mm-hmm.
Not Joel. Some people are Joel fans. Some people are Mike Nelson fans. I like
Gotcha.
Joel. He wrote a book called Mike Nelson's Movie Mega Cheese.
Yeah.
And he named Roadhouse as the cheesiest. When it comes to cheesiest movie of all time, Roadhouse, the 1989 beat 'em up bouncer tale starring Patrick Swayze, tops Mike Nelson's list. Nelson continually cites Roadhouse in his book, Mike Nelson's Movie Mega Cheese, as the touchstone of cheese. He says, "I can't define why it's good. It takes itself very seriously. At least all the actors weren't in on the joke, unless they were pulling off a really, really good joke. It's unbelievable the archetypes they have in place, and they play it dead straight." So high honor, I guess, to some degree.
You know, if you're going to do anything, you need to. I mean, he achieved some. That was strange.
That he attacked the dude with the bear.
Or that the guy was actually
Scared of the bear. He's one. Well, they're always playing like fat dudes as scared and superstitious and easily tricked. Like, you know,
The more you eat, the more fucking.
pretty much but the more you eat, the more sense of self and sensibility you lose altogether. You can't lose weight, but you lose brain power. As you see, like, a bear that's clearly not
dead.
living stuff that you've probably seen around this dude's house many times coming at you, and you actually get afraid. I don't think it would kill him either.
I don't know if he's dead. I personally think don't fat guys like faint and then they're
In movies, that's another fat stereotype, is that they pass out of fear. Like, oh, that kind of thing. Happens to me all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've passed out.
just when like
When the going gets rough, I'd immediately turn myself
when your
off.
daughter's stuffed animals start moving towards you.
I'm like, collapse
Fire
on.
shots into
I've
it.
broken my daughter's leg 3 times, collapsing on her out of fear when she's come at me with a stuffed animal. This movie came out in May 19th, 1989. So this was like a beginning of the summer movie. They had high hopes for this motherfucker.
God damn, he killed a lot of animals.
Yeah, Ben Gazzara's character has a lot of hate for the animal kingdom.
Anything.
He's a trophy collector. That's why he wanted Kelly Lynch. Oh, he's not there. But
He's
he
on the
is
other
on the
side.
other side. And now how come he didn't see him coming around? You know, because he shuffled past the buffalo that quick?
Look at all
Look
the
at-
lemurs.
Did you see that
he
spear, man?
he killed a friggin' family of lemurs.
That spear soared through the air like it was on a string.
It might have been.
Come on, dude. Like, don't even pretend like this dude could get the better of you for 2 seconds.
He shot him though. He's off kilter. He's got some. See,
Yeah, but come on.
there's got to be something.
How do you think he puts him away?
He's got to take him down with the spearhead.
Ripping his throat out has been done, so he won't be doing that.
He's got to use the spear.
Oh, my knee, the backside of my knee. What is that called, the backside of the knee? Is there a clinical term for it?
I
Just
don't
the
know.
back of the knee?
Back of the knee.
This film was nominated for a shitload of Razzie Awards in 1989, including Worst Actor Patrick Swayze, but it was a double nod because he also got nominated.
Wait, he's about to do the.
Worst, he's not going to do the throat thing.
He's thinking better.
Yeah, because Kelly Lynch was all against it. Next of Kin and Roadhouse got him nominated for Worst Actor Razzie. Rowdy Harrington got nominated for Worst Director Razzie, which I totally disagree with. This movie, it's well made. Like, it's not like the movie's not well made. Oh, see, this is where Ben Gazzara went wrong. He looks away because he's looking for something to kill Dalton with. Oh, don't do it.
It's over.
Who killed him? Red.
You fucked up my auto store parts. Oh, the whole town's
The whole
gonna kill him.
town.
This is why
This
this
is like
movie
a
is
Western.
This movie's based on a true story.
This part right here.
This part, yeah,
This
just
one
this part.
element.
It was a story.
It's a true story of a guy who was somebody that the town didn't like. Mm-hmm. See, the fat guy is alive.
Yeah, he's alive, but he's not gonna do anything. See, the fat guy could take them all out. Their backs are turned.
He
But
could
what
be
does he
the
do?
new
Runs
boss.
like a chicken. Roadhouse is said to be based on an actual case in Missouri where the local bad guy, universally hated by everyone in town, was murdered in broad daylight, and no one in town seems to have seen a thing. That was from Roger Ebert's review. Roger Ebert said the guiding spirit of Roadhouse can be glimpsed in one particular scene, which is set in the trophy room of an evil sadist who holds a helpless town in his iron grasp. His hunting trophies include not only the usual deer and elk and antelopes, but also orangutans, llamas, and a matched set of tropical monkeys. The guy went hunting in a zoo. So the whole town kills him, and Dalton doesn't have to do it.
The town rises up and finds the courage they couldn't find before, inspired by Dalton.
We are expected to believe that the sadists financed these hunting expeditions by shaking down the businessmen in a town that on the visible evidence contains a bar, a general store, and a Ford dealership and 2 residences.
They just cut to the monkeys. I didn't know why they did.
The cutaway shot?
They cut to the
See,
monkeys.
that movie's got a sense of humor to itself. That's the thing that people don't appreciate.
I'm scared that we're going to repeat ourselves when
I
I try.
won't. Dalton doesn't churn butter, sir. He roundhouse kicks the cows and the butter comes straight out.
In the Bible,
Yeah.
Jesus turned water into wine. but then Dalton turned that wine into beer.
A handicap parking sign does not signify that this spot is for handicapped people. It is actually, in fact, a warning that the spot belongs to Dalton and that you will be handicapped if you park there. Are they naked again?
He was totally nude there. I bet
see
you
his
if
cock?
if you frame by
Look at
frame,
him.
you're either
Pushes
gonna
her under the water.
you're either gonna see a dance belt or you're gonna see, you know,
His Swayze?
his
Swayze dog?
yeah.
The Swayze dog dangling?
See, she recovered.
Yeah, everything works out.
She's
That's the
only,
way it is in pictures.
you kill somebody, and you know people are only upset for like 40 minutes. It's like the old Love Boat thing. Like they get on the boat, and then everybody gets upset, and then you know
in
you
this
got about
movie,
40 minutes.
She was only upset for about 12 minutes.
When Dalton goes to donate blood, he declines the syringe and instead requests a handgun and a bucket.
Dalton will attain statehood in 2009. His state flower will be the magnolia.
I don't know if I said this one, but Dalton sheds his skin twice a year.
The opening scene of the movie Saving Private Ryan is loosely based on games of dodgeball Dalton played in 2nd grade.
When Roadhouse was aired in France, the French surrendered to Dalton just to be on the safe side.
And there's a reason that this movie is a fucking cult classic. And that's because it works on a couple different levels. I mean, who doesn't like the story of the town that takes on, well, first the dude who takes on the bad guy, and then the whole town gathers together. I would say that whole town coming together thing really comes out of left field, though. You don't see anyone working up to that. It's not like he's trying to rally the town. The town's like, oh, you're on your own, Dalton. So that
yeah, but that's not the way that plays. In the traditional sense of that story in the Western, it is that like there's always like with the monster truck, there's always the moment in the movie where the townspeople watch the bad guy do something shitty and nobody does anything about it. And
so
it is supposed to be that way. They're following the sort of traditional Western line where it's like the guy is still sent out on his own. Because that kind of character, the Dalton character, wouldn't ask for help. He doesn't think he needs it.
because he doesn't.
You need the people to come on their own. If you have to persuade them, then they're not really learning anything. They're not finding the courage.
You know why Dalton doesn't need help?
No.
Because Dalton can win a game of Connect 4 in only 3 moves.
Nice. I think we're coming up on the end.
You think so?
I think we are. They're doing that thing.
You know how they say if you die in your dream, you're going to die in real life?
Yeah.
In all actuality, if you dream of death, then Dalton will find you and kill you. There it is. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
For all eternity, I think I will remember that icy wind that's howling in your eyes. You will see me in your time, in the wasteland of your